Okay, I'm here at the Zero Emissions Fleet event. This event is all about showcasing commercial electric technology that's occurring in BC, which Edison Motors is obviously a part of. I'm going to be giving a little presentation here later, but I'm excited. Let's go check out and see what's around. Okay, I'm here with Todd with Canadian Electric Vehicles, and this is one of those things where I want to support this because this is really cool.
This is the Mighty Truck. It's an electric utility truck made here in Canada, in BC. We manufacture this truck from the ground up on Vancouver Island in Parksville.
I want to verify. So one of those things I like to do at these shows is whenever somebody says, hey, we make this truck here, I fact check it on Alibaba, bring up the phone, and like Theron was talking, and I'm Googling on the phone, checking things out, and this one checks out. This is made in Canada where they designed and built it, and it's got a lot of cool, you can tell that North American right to repair. That's actually why Todd came up to me, talk about that a little bit, and they do a lot of the similar things we do. Like I noticed the 4x6 rectangular headlights. There's no molded fancy headlights. You can buy these at any part store. Get them off of Amazon. It's a very simple design, easy to repair, much like Topsy. This is what it's a simple cab that you can work on. That's what these things are. Like this is the exact same turn signal we use on Topsy. They put the same turn signal on Topsy. The similar kind of dash layout where it's a steel dash, metal dash. It's going to be tough. It's going to last with simple switches, easy to get at, easy to repair. It's like the old vent. I've done videos on why I like these old vents. That's awesome. Very rugged, steel floor, steel cab. Just, this is done right. This is the way that if you want an electric vehicle to last, if you want an electric vehicle to be easy to work on, easy to service, this is what you want. Just solid door, closes well, simple seat, simple interior. It's what a work truck should be. It's got the sliding window, same as Topsy. I just noticed this. That's what we put in Topsy, like the old loader style. I don't know why, I just like, it's like an excavator. I love that. It's just so simple, so easy. What are your customers using these things for?
We sell these trucks to a wide variety of municipalities, towns. Like we have over 25 of them at the city of Santa Monica that are used for just day-to-day maintenance, landscaping operations, cleaning up garbage, watering plants, just all kinds of day-to-day vocational stuff. The same thing you would use any other work truck for. You know, they're just going to work every day doing the same thing.
I imagine this would be a wicked farm truck. Like you think about farmers, they're not putting a lot of hours on, but it's just, you can plug it in, you can go put some hay bales in the back, run out quick, run back, don't have to worry about the gas going bad over winter. It's just,
yeah, this one has a hydraulic dump lift for the back.
I was just looking at that. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, was it a dump bed? It's got e-axles too. I love e-axles. I wonder if I'm gonna see an electric motor, electric drive shaft. No, e-axle, batteries mounted into the frame, between the frame rail like what we did. Like this is a Skookum front end. It's actually got some decent metal on there. It's relatively secure for its size. This is well done. I'm really impressed with this thing. I've seen a lot of cheap Chinese carts made, cheap foreign carts. This is not that. This is the real deal. This is well built. This is awesome. Because it's made in Canada, you'd be able to source the parts for this thing then too?
Yeah, absolutely. So like the taillights are just standard truck light parts. The wheels are common 5 on 4.5 bolt patterns. So any kind of trailer wheels fit it, inexpensive. The tie rod ends and ball joints are standard automotive parts. You can buy at any auto parts store. Run
down to Lordco, grab a set of, and then need a wiper motor, you can go run down, grab that.
Absolutely, but they're small, but you know, pardon the pun, they are mighty. It can haul 1,500 pounds, and we've got mechanics using them to haul engine blocks and tools and everything on rail yard operations. They're real heavy-duty work truck built to last 10 years.
He's right. They literally are truck lights from Lordco. They've got the exact same as what we got. And that's what you want. That's why you pay the premium. And that's why, like, I am adamant of calling out the ones that lie, but promoting the ones that do the right thing. Because the reason why you pay a little bit more for a North American truck, but when you need parts, you run down to the local parts store. You can get a part off the shelf. You can put it back in your truck. You get back to work. When somebody is not being honest about where they made their truck and they're trying to source parts, well, how am I supposed to get that? You got to be an expert in Alibaba to go find the parts? Like, no, that's not
no fun.
That's not what a farmer wants to do. That's not what somebody that's got a work truck wants to do is search to find out what.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do have an aluminum box like Ford, but ours is 1/8 of an inch thick.
Todd, thanks for showing us the truck.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Where can people find something like this if they're interested?
CanEV.com.
CanEV. All right, check them out. They're doing the same kind of thing that we're doing, just on the smaller scale. Okay, behind me here, we got the Peterbilt 579 EV. By far, it's still my favorite. We've still been checking out electric trucks. I gotta say that the Peterbilt is incredibly, incredibly well built. They've thought of a lot of things that certain other people haven't. What I like here, an absolutely great plug-in charger. It's well protected. It's a solid steel door. Like, it's well made. We also have, they put a little sticker right near disconnects and plugins that tell first responders exactly what to do. This is a great idea. I'm actually going to steal this idea, make sure that by our disconnects, we do have a little first responder information, like you want to know that unplug the charger, remove the key, engage the parking brake. Yeah, that makes sense. Tilt the hood forward, turn the 12-volt disconnect to off, wait 2 minutes. There you go. So basically, turn your 12-volt off, take the key out, wait 2 minutes. You got to make sure that people have lockout, tag out. This is what this is. Lock it out, take the key, disconnect it, and then wait a couple minutes for the capacitors and that to discharge. Information right here for first responders. That's nice. I haven't seen anybody else do that, and I really like that. Have a look, even just the attention to detail on the steps. These are solid steel brackets holding everything on. There's no plastic, there's no quick, it's physically bolted on with steel. Even the way that this is mounted, it is skookum. You got side impact protection that's solid steel with reinforced tubing. You can see the tubing in behind here, tubing here. This is going to be incredibly important because if you got batteries on the outside, not just in the frame rail, if you put your batteries in the middle, the frame rail protects them. Out here, a car could T-bone it. You got to think of it like a big fuel tank on the outside. A lot of people say that, yes, what if your fuel tank gets hit? That would explode. And you're like, yes, it would, but why not protect it if you have the chance to protect it? You don't want just big lithium batteries sitting on the outside where a car could hit it. That little side impact, I think, is going to go a long way. A little more weight, but a lot more protection for the driver. You could tell Peterbilt was thinking about driver protection, and I really admire that. So this Peterbilt is running the Meritor 14XE axles, which are a much, much lighter axle. They are quite skinny if you compare them to what we're using. But that being said, is that they're different applications. This is meant for in-town, light delivery, no more than 80,000 pounds max. Ours is meant for 180,000 pounds. They're going to be different specs. So this is lighter, but this is designed to do a lighter job. One of the things I really like about the Peterbilt too, the attention to detail, the little blue striping. All of their EVs have little blue striping. It goes in the dash, it goes in the sills, the little emblems. And what's really cool about this too is the analog gauges. They didn't go with an LCD display as the only option. You can still get analog gauges, and I like that. I like the analog gauges over the LCDs myself, so just very well done. And we just heard a rumor, and they're not saying it officially, but you'll be able to get one of these things at 105,000. So they're increasing the max weight by 25,000 pounds. From what I heard, just a rumor, but which will put Peterbilt in the highest gross weight rating for an electric vehicle, behind the Edison, of course. So yeah, once again, the Peterbilt is absolutely my favorite of the electric trucks. Also Kenworth, it's the same company, PACCAR. So yeah, if you don't need a super heavy spec EV, really I would consider the Peterbilt is the one to look at. In my mind, they've done things by far the best. So checking out the old mean green machine here, and you know, this is one of those cool little things that's built in the States, and cool thing about this is it's currently on, and I didn't know. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, it's way quicker than I thought. Nope. Okay, people shouldn't be around here. That is torquey. Like, that's not bad. No, that's... Oh, sorry.
Oh my God.
No. There's no way I should be driving this thing. This thing is way faster than I thought it was. Like, I've ridden the grass version, and like, this thing is, shouldn't be like, okay, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but this thing is way, this thing is way better than I thought it was. Like, I've driven the gas versions and they don't move. This thing is just gone. Like, I probably almost ran over a couple people there, but like, we're not gonna worry about that because this is all. Yeah, oh, well, I mean, I won't turn the mower on because that's completely irresponsible. Oh my God. Sorry, no, okay. Maybe a little throttle mapping on the controls. That is responsive. Like you just touch that a little bit and you're gone. You gotta warn somebody about that because I'm used to it where you just gotta like push her ahead and then you wait and then it revs up and then you get going and then this one, it's literally just, yeah, just nothing. And we're gone. Okay, you know what? I should probably stop this. Yeah, let's not do that. That's a little much. I really hope you got that. If you gotta pop a wheelie on a mower, that's the mower to go with.
This lawnmower is the first to do an 8-hour mow. And this
First
is
one that can do a wheelie while doing it.
That too. It's got an 8-hour runtime. It'll charge overnight as well. 22 kilowatt battery. And it'll mow about 25 acres on a charge. And the best part is you can start your day super early because there's virtually no noise and no maintenance. So no belts, no clutches. So the maintenance is near nil. To charge this is about $1.98 and versus pouring in about $60 worth of fuel, right?
$1.98 to run it.
Yeah.
No maintenance, no storing it for the winter time.
Exactly.
And a lot more fun. Well, I'm gonna say no maintenance, but like I'm pretty sure we already have to replace some bushings in this thing.
So the way you drive it, you got it for sure.
You could probably run a lot bigger attachment then with that kind of power.
So this is a 52-inch, and we go up to a 8-foot deck. So,
Jeez.
yeah, 96-inch, and again 8-hour runtime. So, it's amazing what we can do with the battery world.
This is so cool. This is
power
why I
equipment.
love EVs. Just pure power, pure simplicity, lower maintenance, easier to work with more performance. Like this is cool.
Super quiet. And that's a big thing around parks too, and municipalities.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, right. You're in a
so-
park where people are having a picnic, they're with their kids. They don't want to listen to a mower interrupt their
Exactly.
enjoyment of the peaceful park.
And we're not shooting rocks out the side or grass. It's actually all coming out mulched out the back. So one more feature, right? That's with the amount of power that's available here, you can do that. It'll mulch grass.
I
and
can
pure-
honestly attest that this thing has power. I was not. You gotta warn people when they hop in this.
So you're looking at about $45,000 for a machine of this magnitude, and the good people at the BC government will give you back $5,000 of that. So, you know, at that price point, it's falling into a retail that you're going to pay on a diesel or gas, but then you've got all the maintenance and environmental issues along with that.
Oh.
Here,
Oh, it's actually close because I didn't know what the price of a normal diesel
Yeah.
equivalent mower is.
so yeah, you're getting up in the $30,000, $35,000.
By the time you add up
so-
the fuel and all that, plus the benefit of being a lot quieter
Yeah.
for where you're working with the things, like a golf course where golfers, I imagine, don't want to hear them.
Exactly, yeah. And the nice thing is this battery will outlive this mower too. This battery's going to last for about 10 years. So,
I'm impressed. I like it. Hey,
yeah.
thanks
Thank
for,
you. Yeah.
Thank you for letting me try that.
Evil Knievel of Lawnmower. This is good.
I'm here with Jazz from Freightliner. We're looking at the M2. They've made some upgrades from the previous model that I think are actually really, really cool.
So we're looking at the EM2 here, and this is a 33,000 gross combination vehicle. And this one has a 290 kilowatt battery. It's going to give you about 250 kilometers range. Full electric, pure electric. It's new. We just received it about 2 weeks ago.
Brand new. This is their new style. Come here, I'll show you some of the improvements they've made. One of the cool things about the new truck is that they have gone away from the center-mounted motor that was in the frame rail and gone with the E-axle on this truck. So you remember, Carl, we did that, where we had a motor up at the front, we had a drive shaft going to a normal rear end. We switched over, and with this E-axle, you get way more torque and power to the ground, less mechanical loss, and it also frees up frame rail space. You can have your motor inverters in the frame rail. You can have more
Battery
air
pack.
tanks. I also like the battery. Compared to the ones that were segmented, it's a big battery pack right at the very front, puts the weight on the steer axle. No, there's some definite improvements on this.
Body mounts, you'll see these come from the factory. So when it comes for different types of body outfits, you're ready to mount.
Honestly, I like this a lot better than the other one that Swiss cheese the frame rail, but
So this one is the 291 kilowatt battery. It's going to give you about 250 kilometers range. This one is about $470,000, but with our federal and provincial grants, that can bring down the cost quite a bit. So,
470,000.
yeah, so if we're getting 100,000 from the federal government as a grant and 100,000 provincial grant, that'll substantially lower your cost of ownership.
Yeah, that's pricey.
You
The
go
grants
from
do
470
help,
to
I guess.
270. Yep, they absolutely help.
Okay, I'm here with Brian. This is kind of cool. It's an EV mobile fast charging unit. So it's just a mobile battery pack that you can run around to charge things with?
That's right, yeah. So this is developed, engineered by us in Canada, and we're based out of Richmond, BC. The parent company of this is Four Seasons Technology, so we're based out in Richmond. In the beginning, we were a manufacturing company, but one other booth that you see here also is our EVSE team, which does static chargers, and we've been doing that since 2015. And so the past few years, we've seen a natural progression of seeing that need of mobile charging and solutions. And so we've been developing this. So we've just come out with this. Actually, we first presented it last year, September at the Vancouver Convention Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fully charged there. Yeah, we were there.
Okay, perfect.
So what the whole basic idea of this thing is that you got a Tesla there that runs out of juice. Instead of towing it, you can run up and recharge it?
Exactly. So that's the actual application for it. It can be for fleets as well, and users.
I imagine mobile equipment then, like, because you see that a lot where there's mobile excavators that are electric, like excavators, loaders, well, like that machine on site. Believe it or not a lot of construction sites have 3-phase fast chargers. So a solution like this, you could run over and recharge that.
As long as the actual setup, allows for it, the input, then you can do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I like it. I think it's a cool idea, being able to use a big battery pack, put a little charger in there and run around and recharge vehicles that are out of.
Yeah, we're seeing that evolution. Obviously, we have some competitors, of course, who put one huge battery. That's also not a bad method to do it. We've taken sort of a modular battery approach for different applications. Where you need bigger batteries, then you can add more as long as your vehicle and your weight allows for that.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
That your idea makes way more sense than just a giant battery pack.
Yeah, and to be honest, the cells are bound to have some issues at some point if you're doing hundreds or thousands of cycles. Yeah. If you have one big battery, that whole system has to come offline.
That's smart. Easier to maintain then.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thanks for showing us. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
All right, so this is really, really cool. We got invited to go on these electric tugboats. Apparently there was only 30 seats and we got 2 of them so we could check out what these things do. And right now I don't actually know anything about it. So I'm gonna go talk to a guy, learn about these, and then we're gonna fill you in on what these tugboats are. So we found some really cool things out about this tug. Number one, being electric had some advantage. It had more torque, it had higher speed, and there's some cool benefits I didn't think of. Like, one of the issues was whale activity. This thing is going up to Kitimat. They got a lot of whales. They're worried about the noise. The sonar waves under the water impact whale activity. So when they're near a whale group or marine life, they don't need to run any diesel generators. They can run fully on battery, and it's 10 times less disturbance for marine life when they're nearing those sensitive areas. So that's a cool benefit of this hybrid setup that I really think I didn't even think of before. Cool thing about this tugboat, center seating. So believe it or not, you have unreal visibility with center seating. Like, look at the room you have. And like he said before, because this thing is hybrid, it doesn't need this large of diesel motors. Normally you would have large exhaust stacks coming out the back here that you would not be able to see. Instead, with a hybrid, they were able to go smaller, go down, and you have 360 panoramic view. This is very cool. It's pretty well the same as Topsy. Center seating, jockey seat for the passenger. So these are the battery packs. They are 5.3 megawatt hours of battery, which charges in about 4 hours. Same thing we use in our light towers right there. So we got to come down here and check out these diesel electric tugboats today. And these things are really, really cool. They're very similar to Topsy. They can run 100% off their batteries, but they also have 2 onboard Cat diesel generators to recharge those batteries that they're operating, in case they need their duty cycle to be longer. They can run about 4 hours off their batteries, which means that for 4 hours they can run totally quiet, which is great in their application. These tugboats are up in Kitimat, and their main job is to take those LNG tankers that are coming in, bring them into the harbor quietly, so when they're working around residential areas or areas where you're worried about noise pollution, they're running totally quiet. These boats are actually on right now while the deckhands are working, and it is whisper quiet. As a deckhand, you can talk while you're working to everybody else that's going on. These things are absolutely really cool. Well, there you go. It's pulling away and you can barely hear it. So overall, we had an incredible day at this Plug-in BC event. We've seen some really cool technology, some great applications of electrification, and different things that even I hadn't thought about. We've seen confirmation of our theory on diesel electric being used in other applications with some real world positive results. So just a fantastic day. Glad we came. Glad I was able to do the speech. Wasn't the speech I was gonna give, but I think we made the right call.
For a tech company, we're not very good at tech.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. You've probably received some sort of emails from me over the past few months putting this together. Really appreciate you making it out. There's been a lot of electric vehicle events going on. Really just illustrates the momentum behind all of this. Now, I don't want to do too much talking here because we've got a guest with us today doing really ambitious work and seeing real results out in the world. So we've got Chace Barber here from Edison Motors. Let's get right into it. So for the benefit of those who aren't familiar with Edison Motors, Chace, what is your background? How did Edison come to be?
Yeah, so the background is for the last 15 years, I've been a log truck driver. Me and my business partner had a few logging trucks, low beds, and basically we were looking at the electric landscape and we were thinking like, man, electric vehicles would make so much sense for logging in BC. You're going uphill empty and you're coming downhill loaded. But we kept looking at what all the electric trucks were out there and we're like, this is bullshit. Nothing is being made for the vocational space. There's no heavy duty electric truck. They're designing them light. So we said, if I was going to build an electric truck, I'd do it this way. And I used TikTok and I was saying like, I'd do it this way. And finally someone said, well, why don't you build your own electric truck? And we said, screw it, we will. And that came into this thing.
Yeah. So we've got a picture up here. Can you just tell us a bit about this truck and what goes into building it?
Yeah, so this was our second truck we ever built. We had a proof of concept, and then we built this one, which we unveiled last September. And this is essentially what happens when you ask a bunch of loggers to build an electric truck. We kind of modeled it off the old Pacific, the old HaiSea, kind of mixed with a skidder. But we realized something when we were building this truck is that batteries themselves didn't quite have enough range. We were looking at 2.5 to 3 megawatts to get a logging truck through the day. That would be 50, 60,000 pounds of batteries, even with the regen and the slope and the coming down hills. So what we did is we put a little Cat C9 diesel generator under the hood, and it essentially works as, the way I like to say it, it's 100% electric that carries around its own onboard fast charger.
Yeah, so a very similar concept to some of the classic early electric passenger vehicles like the Chevrolet Volt, the BMW i3 range extender. This is kind of what we're looking at, the diesel kind of range extender in a way. Still a lot of batteries in it. And again, being built by, truck drivers from Merritt, BC, kind of self-made stuff here. So let's talk a bit more about maybe the advantage of going with diesel and the history behind that too, because it's new in these logging trucks. It's been around in other applications like in marine and trains and stuff like that. So any inspiration that you took from those industries?
Yeah, it has been around a long time. Even those tugboats that we've seen outside over there are diesel electric, the very same principles that our truck works on. And we looked at the way things were done, like freight trains have been diesel electric since the 1930s, and they show incredible torque, incredible efficiency. There's a reason you don't see freight trains with transmissions in them. You see in the heavy equipment, Laterno log loaders, like when we were setting out, we looked at what was being done. And Aspen Planers in Merritt actually has diesel electric equipment, hybrid equipment that was built in the 1960s. They got a 67, 1969, and a 1971. And these 3 old 50-year-old machines that run diesel electric have been unloading 200-300 logging trucks a day for 50 years. They're incredibly fuel efficient, incredibly reliable, well, 50 years old, and just well put together. So when we were looking for inspiration, we looked at actually what was done in the past and put just a little bit of a modern twinge on it.
Yeah, to great effect. Do you have any examples of sort of the efficiency that people are getting, or that your truck is getting now compared to just being diesel, or further advantages of this approach?
Yeah, it depends how you want to measure it, because they are vocational trucks. It depends what slope you're on. But what we were showing with our first prototype there was like a 40 to 60% reduction in fuel economy based on what it was doing at the time. Now, yeah, if you put it just on the highway as an OTR truck, 5-10%. You can put it into a heavy slope logging application where you're 80%, but we like to say 40-50%. And I think that's a more realistic way to look at the transition, because I think we could get full electric in the heavy space over the next 20-30 years as battery technology improves, grid infrastructure, charging infrastructure improves. We could transition to full electric, but it's not available for 80% of the heavy-duty trucks on the market today, which means that they're stuck running what we have now, which is 100% diesel. But if we can cut that diesel emission by 50%, instead of having a 15-liter engine like a normal logging truck has, we have a 9-liter diesel. Instead of it lugging down and revving through the RPMs, it's running at one constant RPM, exactly where that little diesel motor wants to sit. And that's further reducing emissions. So it's a nice transitional step that we seem to be missing, the transitional step to full electric, because I think we could get there. I think it's worthwhile looking into, but I think you need to take the steps you need to take. Rather than just going 100% diesel to 100% BEV, let's look at some hybrid options. Let's get that diesel smaller, get the diesel more efficient. As battery technology gets better and better, that onboard diesel range extender can get smaller. As hydrogen fuel cells become more cost effective, yank the diesel out, put a little fuel cell in. The inverters don't care where they get the power from.
Yeah. It is amazing that this is kind of the first application of like diesel hybrid.
That's nuts, right?
In trucking. Yeah. It kind of blows my mind, since we've had hybrids in other applications for so long, and for other industries too for so long.
Yeah. This is literally, we built the first diesel electric truck, I think globally, at least definitely in North America, and we have the only diesel electric hybrid option. Like, we have the only real hybrid truck. How did this take a bunch of loggers out of Merritt to come up with a hybrid? Like, that should have happened before us. Come on.
Yeah. And so some loggers in Merritt figuring this out themselves. Can you talk a little bit about the components that you use?
Yeah.
Sort of off-the-shelf stuff that you're putting this together with.
That's what I'm proud at, is that the reason we were able to build this truck the way we did is that we used those common off-the-shelf parts. We look at what had been done. Like, if hybrid and diesel electric have been around since the 1930s, that means that those parts have been produced since the 1930s. We didn't try and reinvent the wheel, build our own custom parts. We went down to the local hardware stores, the local electrical stores, truck parts, and we grabbed the parts off the shelf, as many as we possibly could. That's what let us actually build this truck in essentially a dirt field behind my parents' house. Like, we were working with very little, so we used what we had, but it made an incredibly efficient truck. And we found out, it turns out we blew a couple things up during testing. Some DC to DCs we fried. Turns out we figured out what the max voltage is. But because we used more common off the shelf, we could, hey, what do you got in stock? Okay, can you send me another one tomorrow? Yeah, I blew it up. All right. But that means that when our customers have these trucks, they're not relying on a massive logistics network of where's Edison's inverter? Oh, well, this is the company I bought it from. Just call them. They'll send you the inverter. Oh, what about those contactors? Oh, they're just standard Gigavac off-the-shelf contactors. Oh, what about the brake pot? Well, that's a standard 3030 brake pot. CBS has got them in stock. We didn't need to reinvent the wheel. We just took what existed, and we ended up with a very reliable, very simply built piece of equipment built for what loggers want.
Yeah, it's I mean, I used to use a lot of off-the-shelf components in various technologies in my previous roles, and that was the exact idea, is so that people can, replace parts easily. Is more like computer applications.
But you were telling me like what? Instead of 100,000 custom, you were able to do one for like $3,000 using off the shelf?
Yeah. Just, I used to build these computer kiosks for visitor centers, and found that I could do it for a couple $1,000s using off the shelf components instead of. But you have to have the know-how. You have to have some staff who are comfortable with it.
100%. We do have some. One of the nice things that Edison we went a little viral on social media. I want to say that it's not just us. We've had over 130 people working on this truck, experts in everything that just reached out. It's really been a grassroots community project.
Aside from this truck, what else are you working on? Because you've got a bunch of projects on the go.
We got the semi-truck, so we sold the first 4 or 5 semi-trucks, and we came out with a pickup truck version that's the same retrofit. You could just retrofit it into existing. We use the same batteries, same inverter. We realized we could use all the same parts. The only thing that's different is that the motor's on a pickup truck. Instead of using 6 inverters, we'll use 2 inverters. Instead of 6 batteries, we'll use 2 batteries, and we could come out the same thing because we had so many people that they wanted that hybrid technology. They were looking at that vocational thing, like things like welding trucks, service trucks. Nobody was making electric vehicles that could go welding on a pipeline. But these welders were reaching out to us, and they're like, well, I want to run an electric welder. I run 2 diesel engines all day. It's nuts. I run a diesel engine in my pickup, then I run another diesel engine on the welder, and I got 2 diesel engines idling for 12, 14 hours a day. Why don't we just put a little diesel on there that recharges the battery and then runs an electric welder? So that's what they wanted. That's what we'll build.
Yeah, right on. It's great to see all these applications out there. When you say people are coming to you for these custom jobs, it's like what is your capacity to fulfill those?
8 trucks. We're doing 8. I'm a firm believer that too many startup EV companies try and ramp too fast. Let's just build 8 to 10. We'll build them slowly. We'll do them right, make sure they work, and then we'll scale up.
Right on. Yeah. We're about time for this presentation. Chace, looking to the future, anything you want to say about kind of your vision for the future of electric trucking?
Vision for the future, I want to see more hybrid, and I want to see less planned obsolescence, more right to repair. There's very few moving parts on an electric vehicle. There's no reason that electric vehicles can't be simple, easy to work on, easy to repair. I want to see that going forward. I want to see the small shops still be able to work on electric vehicles. I want to see the owner-operator loggers still be able to pull some wrenches without getting too crazy on these things. And I'm seeing a trend away from that small shop, the owner-operator repair, seeing $1,800 headlights. And you're seeing that with this electric. Well, the needlessly complicated, you can't work on it itself, doesn't need to go into the electric spot. If a Laterno from the 1960s can be simply built, electric vehicles can be too. I'd like to see that trend keep going.
Right on. I think that's a good place for us to end here, transition into the next speakers. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you, Chace from Edison Motors.
You bet. Thanks.